Do you know someone who's in a relationship? Well, of course you do, but not the kind of relationship that you're thinking of. Romantic relationships are only one kind of relationship. And you see, whenever people have relationships with people, they're all kinds: mother, son, father, daughter, brother, sister, best friend, and you're thinking he's crazy because we know those relationships. But admit it, the first thing that comes to your mind due to high school, parents, whatever, is a romantic relationship because that's what we focus on. And a lot of times we don't really pay attention to the important parts of our relationships. Excuse me. Um, So when you think about a relationship and you think about someone who gives you advice on a relationship, those are oftentimes people you respect, people you admire, people you look up to, but it really can be anyone because relationships differ from person to person and to the other person to person in that relationship with the first person. In life, every time that we take credit for an opinion, every time we talk about something, share something, rant to someone, spend time with someone, do something with someone, we're building a relationship, whether that's good or bad. When you do what your boss says, you're creating a relationship of respect. When you help out your roommate, you're creating a relationship that could be a friendship. When you ask somebody out, you are possibly creating a romantic relationship. And as we spend more time, we realize that in these relationships, sometimes we try to perform maintenance. And that's a weird word, but the relationship maintenance theory, which is what I'm talking about today, is that when we spend time in these relationships, oftentimes we tend to try and perform maintenance on these relationships to keep them in certain forms. If everyone identified the 4 parts of relationships maintenance, they would be able to have stronger relationships because we would realize what we're doing that is causing us having to perform maintenance, or just realizing that we're performing maintenance, because not always every time we're going to remember that we, or realize that we are performing relationship maintenance. If you are to identify these, well, first you have to know what they are. If you try to keep it in satisfactory condition, you may be doing all the work. So the first one is keeping your relationship in a satisfactory condition. So if it's your best friend and you want them to do everything for you like you do everything for them, then you may continue trying to be at their beck and call because you want them to have the same relationship with you as you want to have with them. And if it's not in a satisfactory condition, then you may go over the top or be rude when it's not that way that you want it to be. Sometimes we don't do this on purpose, but it has the same point to that person because it's what we're doing. If you try to repair a relationship, now this is trying to get a friend back, trying to go back out with your ex, maybe reaching out to a parent you're not very close to, calling a grandparent that hasn't been around you very much. All these kinds of things. Repairing a relationship is nothing not uncommon. Everyone does it. I have had several friends that we, quit hanging out or we quit spending time together just because of life, and eventually we were able to repair that relationship. It's not necessarily a bad thing. All of these forms of relationship maintenance aren't necessarily a bad thing, but we don't always catch on to what we're doing, and they can lead down a road that is not very good very quickly. If you were trying to keep it in existence, so this one is a little complicated. It sounds easy, but it's really not, because relationships don't just exist in a physical state. When you form a relationship with somebody, a real hard relationship, you will remember it for the rest of your life. Your parent or whoever acted as a parent, your guardian as a kid, you are going to remember in either a positive or a negative way. It could be both, but overall it's going to be one of them because you spent your childhood with that person and you were raised by that person or people, and either way they are going to have a hold on you for the rest of your life. So in the physical sense, keeping a relationship in existence would be trying your hardest to keep that person to want a relationship with you. And in a less physical sense, it would be understanding that that person is probably going to exist in your heart for a long time, and a lot of people try to keep that because it helps them move forward with their lives. And the last one, when we try to keep it in a certain state or position. Now, the truth about this one is that when we keep it in a certain state, we are fighting to hold a relationship down. So if you're best friends with someone and they want to be more than friends, this is a perfect example, and they are trying to get out of the friend zone, and you don't let them, then you are trying to keep it there, and that is suppressing their feelings. And it is harder because then that person doesn't get to release themselves in the form that they want to with you. And sometimes it leads down a road of no more relationship at all. But you have to understand that you can't suppress someone by trying to keep it in a certain position if they don't want to be there. And let me pull up these charts really fast. So we have two charts. The first one is going to be the showing of the relation maintenance. So we have coming together, which is bonding, integrating, intensifying, experimenting, and initiating. And then we have coming apart, which is differentiating, circumscribing, stagnating, avoiding, and terminating. Now, when we look at this, we understand that coming together is part of it. First you have to bond, right? And then it integrates, and then it intensifies, and then you experiment. And it works towards you and that person to form a stronger relationship. And then when you're coming apart, you start differentiating, circumscribing, stagnating, avoiding, and terminating. So all of those is a sequence that equals you terminating that relationship with that person, because that's not something that you want anymore. When we form relationships, and we form healthy relationships, and we form unhealthy relationships in general, we spend a lot of our time trying to perform maintenance on these relationships because we don't know what we're doing, and we don't always realize that we're doing it. So in a healthy way, we have to realize what we're doing about relationship maintenance, how to handle it, how to take care of it, and then do the right thing. Thank you for your time.